Welcome to News at 6. I'm Sophie Gotch with updates on the growing tension between House Boutrous and House Feinstein, while our man on the stand gives us a sneak peek at Judge Boyd's fall fashion show. But first, our top story, child support. How many ponies does a girl need? My answer won't surprise you.
Hello again, hope you're all doing well and that you enjoyed our cold open. I'm in my backyard because a couple weeks ago the shooting studio got flooded, so it's out of action until the insurance does their thing. Anyways, this episode is all about child support. The free guide has nearly 24 decisions on things such as retroactive support, imputation, burden of proof, and some fun case law trivia like the limits of demonstrative exhibits or when a judge can't deny an amendment to the pleadings. And as always, we're going to preview a handful of interesting child support decisions, but before we begin, a quick PSA.
Remember, kids, don't get caught taking shortcuts. There's no substitute for reading the actual decisions.
Now, our first case involves an extraordinary situation where Dad didn't own a business, but the judge believed he had unilateral access to the business's finances. That business hired Dad's daughter from a previous relationship and covered her house payments as, presumably a perk of employment. On appeal, the court's computation of those payments as part of the dad's income was affirmed, at least in part because the judge believed Dad had total access to the company's finances and that his testimony about his income lacked credibility. So keep this case in mind when representing family businesses like, for example, the family convenience store where everyone is kind of chipping in, salaries, the bookkeeping is kind of what it is. Because this decision suggests that if that marriage were to fall apart, loosey-goosey accounting can put your client on the hook for benefits paid out to other family members. Our second case involves imputation. Imputation, it's where the judge uses a higher income number than what a parent claims they make or actually makes because they smell something fishy about their income. Courts can come up with a number or impute income for, a variety of reasons if the evidence shows a parent is doing any of the following. 1, a parent is voluntarily unemployed, such as quitting their job, or 2, they're evading a support obligation. Say Dad owns a small business and suddenly he has to make dubious business expenditures, thereby reducing its profitability, at least until the child support case is over. Or 3, the parent has unreasonably failed to take advantage of an employment opportunity. Say they're an engineer, but they're only applying to fast food jobs. Now, the current statute requires the court to consider the following when electing to go the imputation route, along with taking into account local job market realities. Which brings us to Zeckman, where a mental health incident results in Dad leaving his high-paying trading job and taking a position at the Apple store, the other Apple store, making substantially less money. Now, the judge imputes what Dad previously made as a trader, but kind of on the lower end of that, and the appellate court was fine with it, in large part because Dad didn't do much at trial to make his case. Dad sort of said, and I'm super paraphrasing here, I had a mental breakdown at my previous job. I took a kind of a less stressful one. Don't want to go back to that one. However, I could if I had to. That last part is key. The holding may seem cruel, but a judge needs evidence to weed out the honest from the liars. Otherwise, every person on the hook is going to claim it's too stressful to go to work. Now, turning to our third and final case for tonight is Lamb. Now, Lamb is a great example of Did You Know, which I feature in the guide because of its plethora of case law. The issue on appeal in Lamb is pretty simple. It was about Mom's close but not close enough efforts to nail down Dad's income on a modification. Namely, she could show where his income was now, where it was a year after the last support order was entered, but not at the time that support order was entered. And because of that, the appellate court says, she can't increase her child support because she needed to show what it was at the time of judgment, not a year later, and then compare it to what it is now. So this case is a valuable lesson about the dangers of incomplete discovery. So that wraps up this edition. If you liked it, the best way to say thank you is just to kind of stock the channel. And as a thank you for those that made it all the way to the end, here's a quick preview of our next video. Pretty good.
Hello, it's war. Do we have the budget for this? I don't think we do.